My name is Mayu. I'm owner of Go Game Cafe Hidamari Tokyo. Welcome back to talking about Go. So this content is the show that cool Go player can talk about interesting points of Go and their history. Even if you're a beginner, don't worry about it. You can enjoy this content. Today's guest is really special person. I finally asked him. So this is one of my dream came true today. So that's why I a little bit nervous. So please enjoy to the end of this video. So please welcome Michael Redmond 9 Dan.
Nice to meet you.
Hello.
Thank you for accepting my request this time.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
So, could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Michael Redmond. I'm a professional Go player, and I've been living in Japan more than 40 years now. So I've been a professional Go player for about that long.
Okay, so first, I'd like to ask you, what made you start playing Go?
Yes, when I was 10 or 11 years old, I learned from my father. So he was a member of a group of players in Santa Barbara, which is on the west coast of America, in California. And they would gather together about once a week to play Go. And most of them were university students. There's a University of Santa Barbara very close. So some professors too. And only a few of the participants had a house to gather in. So they would take turns. And when the group came to my father's house, a few times I watched, and it looked like they were having fun. It was after dinner parties, so they would be having some drinks maybe and snacks. And it was probably about my bedtime, so I thought I wanted to participate. And so I convinced my father to teach me to play Go. He was a very strict teacher, and at that time, they only used 19 by 19 Go boards, which is the big Go board. So nowadays people teach on a 9 by 9 or even smaller boards. But he taught me on a 19 by 19, and he would just kill everything I played on the board the first few times. And first, somehow I managed to not to quit, and eventually learned to play. And when I started winning against my father, he set it up so that if I won 2 out of 3 games, then he would change the handicap. I would have 1 less handicap stone. And so I would gradually be catching up to him. I think that was one incentive, just the ability to win and change the handicap like that. So he made this system, and so I would be playing him daily, actually, and trying to improve. So then eventually he allowed me to enter the group and play with the other players.
Okay, so your father was a physicist, right?
He was a physicist, yes.
Yeah, okay. Do you know how your father started playing Go?
I was told that it was about when I was born, so it was in the 1960s, and he had a friend who played the game. I think his friend must have learned it maybe in Europe, or maybe he actually came to Japan. I think he was a European player, so maybe he learned it in Europe.
Okay, so how did you study Go when you were a child?
Yes, well, obviously we didn't have internet back then. So my father had some books, and books about Go in English were still a bit rare. So he had this book written by Maeda Nobuaki Naindan, who was a top professional, very famous for his life and death problems. And his problems always had a kind of a blind spot where there was a move that did not seem to be obvious.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were rather difficult, but these problems were rated from about, I think it was something like 10Q to a low Dan ranking. So it was quite a width there. And I worked my way through, it was a set of 3 books. I worked my way through those books. And I think that was improved my reading to above my strength. So my average playing strength was not as strong as my reading strength after I went through those books. And that lasted for a long time. So it was very valuable study that going through those books.
Okay, so when did you decide to become a professional player and why?
Well, when I was in California, actually, there were some tournaments in Los Angeles. So it was when I was visiting Los Angeles, and a friend of my parents called Richard Dolan said that I was so talented that I had to go to Japan. He was very encouraging, and he offered to take me because he was about to have a trip to Japan. He was about to travel to Japan. And so he took me to Japan, and we went directly to the Go Association in Tokyo, because at the time they had a floor of hotel rooms that you could stay overnight in. And of course, before we went to our room, we took a look at the playing room, and there was this person playing a simultaneous 10-on-1 match. He was playing 10 players at the same time. And it was the first time I had seen that. And I didn't understand Japanese at that time, but I was told that he was celebrating becoming a 9-dan professional. So that's all I know about that person. I still don't know his name. And so there was an empty board at the edge of this group of players, and he offered to give me a lesson. So I played a game. I remember it was at 8 stones, and I was about 1 dan, a shodan at that time. And I thought I was going to win, but eventually he won by 1 point. And I sort
Only
of realized
1 point. Wow.
only 1 point.
Wow.
And I sort of realized that maybe he did that on purpose in a position where he could have won by a lot more. So I was very impressed by that. And I think that really changed how I thought about the game. And after that, I was sort of assuming that I would try to become a professional.
Did you want to get a different job before before you went to Japan?
Before I went to Japan, well, my father was a physicist, and my brother was very talented in math. And so I guess I just sort of vaguely, and I was better than average in school in mathematical subjects. But I sort of gave up on that when I realized that I wasn't even close to my brother or my father in the ability. Like they were way ahead of me. And so I thought maybe that was maybe one of the reasons I didn't become a physicist. But yeah, like that. I also used to play the flute when I was a child. So that was something that I toyed with the idea, but I didn't like it as much as I liked to play Go. I think that was the big difference.
Okay, so did your parents approve of your job?
I think my mother was against it.
Yeah, because you needed to go to Japan.
I needed to go to Japan. It wasn't the age of internet yet.
Yeah.
So I just had to physically go to Japan. And my mother did not want that to happen, and she was against it. I think my father had some understanding that there was a professional community in Japan, and that I could make a living of it. And at the very least, I think he thought maybe it was an opportunity for me to learn a new language, to learn Japanese. And that could, and maybe he thought that would be useful. Like, it was still a time when Japan was not one of the leading economical countries in the world, but maybe he saw some potential there. I don't know.
Okay, so please tell me the most memorable story from your training days.
My training, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think it does have to be about Yasuda 9-dan. He's dead now, but he was one of the greatest teachers. He was very good with children. He would be teaching a group of children, and they would not know how to play Go. And like, they would be sort of braced for something that was going to be very tedious and boring, but he would have them, like, they would be laughing just a few seconds into the lecture. Like, he would start with something hilarious or something very entertaining. and then he would just have them. He would they would be locked onto him, and they kept on playing. Like the children that learned from him would continue, and so he was a very successful teacher. And it's something that I observed, but I still find very difficult to emulate, because it was just his personality and his ability to make things fun. I have a lot of other stories about him when he was a young boy, and he was a troublemaker. So there's a lot of stuff I know about him that I can't really talk about.
Believe that, but because I met him maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But he looked so kind, and not looked so troublemaker.
Yeah, I think there was just a point in his life where he changed. When he saw how many children just did not have the opportunities that they needed to reach their potential, and they needed something fun to do. And when he said himself that when he thought what he could provide to them, the only thing he could provide was Go. So he was going to provide Go and try to make it exciting and fun for them. And I think he succeeded.
Okay, so what do you do on days you don't have matches?
Well, yeah, in general, I just enjoy Go. I still enjoy Go, so I'm doing something with Go, just dealing with it. And nowadays, with the COVID virus and staying home and all that, I felt I had a lot of time, and I felt that I was losing contact with Go players, other professionals, as well as the fans. So I wanted to do something to reach out, and I had always wanted to do YouTube. So I started YouTube because of that. And once I started it, I found that it was very challenging and time-consuming, and also very interesting to see all these things that YouTube wants you to do to improve your channel and stuff like that. Yeah. And these are all things that I've never even thought of doing before. So it was very interesting and challenging in that way.
Yeah, I like your challenge.
Most of my time now.
Yeah. Okay, so do you have any special food you eat before the games?
No.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing special.
Same as always. Nothing special. Maybe when I was young, I don't even remember it very clearly. But no, I don't have anything.
Okay, so could you tell me about unforgettable game you played?
Yes, unforgettable games the most unforgettable games I played were all against Cho-Chu-kun.
Oh.
And now he has become a funny old man, sort of. He's got a different character.
Yeah.
But when I started playing against him in the tournaments, I was maybe about 5 dan, and he was like the top player in the world at that time. He was not only the top player in Japan, but he was probably the strongest player in the world. And he had some of the top titles in Japan. And he was a very fierce player. And he had there was a very strong atmosphere to him. It was very frightening just to be across the Go board from him. It was frightening. Like there was a tiger in the room or something like that.
Tiger.
And so, yeah, I was intimidated. But the time I sort of steeled myself for that, and that was the first game I won against him, actually. It was, I felt like I was staking my life out just because it was so dangerous. But that was the game I won. And then after that, another game I played against him that was sort of memorable was a game on NHK, which is the national TV network. And the director came up to us just before the game and asked, so what was your record against each other? And I really didn't want him to ask that because I forget which one it was. I eventually won 2 games against Cho-Chu-kun, so I don't really remember whether I'd already had 2 wins or not. But you could see how he was sort of upset by that. And it actually, when he got upset, he got stronger. And he also started playing very fast. So he was playing in that TV program is supposed to last something like 1.5 hours, 1 hour and 40 minutes or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was playing so fast that there was no way it was going to last that long. And so, but then when the game ended, and I made a mistake in the middle game and I got clobbered. But when the game ended, then he was in very good spirits, and he never ended. He wouldn't stop researching the game. So that was another sort of humorous, but yeah, that was another side of him I saw.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I have a lot of Chochkun stories too. He was a very special person. Still is.
Okay, I see. I really like his column. He wrote the article in the Go newspaper in Japan.
Yes.
So I really big fan of that article.
Yeah, that's where I think he tried to change his character.
Yeah, I see. So next one. So do you use AI? If yes, which AI do you use, and why do you use that AI?
Okay, I use Leela and I use Katago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I use these two because they're bundled together in, let's see, what was the name? There's a program, the interface, in which both of these programs are bundled together. So you can sort of get them together relatively easily. So the ease of downloading both of them at the same time is why I use two of them. Basically, I find that all of the Go playing AIs, you might say, are so strong and different from humans that they one would be plenty actually, but it's good to have Katago also, because Katago does give you how many points a player is winning. It gives you a point score also, which is good. Yeah.
Okay, so next one. So in the AlphaGo movie, Fan Fury predicted that Lee Sedol would win with a 99.9% probability before the match. What were you expecting?
Okay, well, first of all, that's not how I remembered. I'm not really sure what Fan Hui said. I think he was probably saying that more than 99% of the people were expecting AlphaGo to win. I mean, the human player to win, that is. But he might have been sort of silently disagreeing with that, because he had actually played AlphaGo. And the fact, and he had continued playing AlphaGo. So he had a better idea than anyone else how strong AlphaGo was actually. But we had only seen the 5 games that AlphaGo had played against him. And those games, AlphaGo was playing at a professional level, but didn't look nearly strong enough to beat Lee Sedol. So before the match, I think it's fair to say that I still expected Lee Sedol to win. And then after the first game, which AlphaGo won fairly convincingly, but there were some points of the game that I just didn't understand, and I thought that it was playing slackly. But that was after AlphaGo already had a winning position. And so as far as AlphaGo was concerned, that was okay, I suppose. But at the time, we were not allowed to see the scores that AlphaGo was giving itself and stuff like that. So we didn't really know that. And I was still a bit doubtful. I think it was in the middle of the second game, after the opening. I actually talked about that game earlier today. That was on Twitch, and it's going to be on the AGA YouTube channel also. I talked about game number 2 with Chris Garlock. And that game, AlphaGo played an unusual opening, which worked really well. And then it played, and then it played a shoulder hit, which was on the 5th line. And that's something that was supposed to be bad, according to the values that we had up to that point. So it was sort of a no-no move. It's something you didn't do. It's a taboo. And it pretty quickly, it worked very well. So when I saw these two things happen, I think it was just in the middle of the second game, I was already realizing that this is going to be going badly for Lee Sedol. And I think he was realizing at that point also. He was, you could sort of see his emotions as he was playing.
when AI defeated mankind, what did you feel?
When AI defeated who? Lisa Doll?
Mankind.
Oh, Mankind, yeah.
Mankind, yeah.
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 Well, the way it was so convincing against Lisa Doll was, at the time, I think his world ranking was down to number 3 or something like that. But before that, he had been the top player in the world for something like 20 years. And he was a formidable player in that he could have a bad position and turn it around in the middle game. He was a very fierce middle game fighter, and that continued to the end of the game. He was very good at upturning difficult games. And so I think it's fair to say most professional Go players even feared him. So to see him sort of at a loss of what to do against AlphaGo, it was a bit of a shock. So I think I was pretty shocked after the first game, just seeing how he had been beaten. But also I had a hope. At the time, we were not allowed to sort of converse with AlphaGo. It wasn't even set up to have us input moves and ask what AlphaGo was going to do about that. So that really started with the programs that followed, like Leela 0, and that kind of thing, like Katago. And there were some others, of course. But these new programs had the same basic system, and they allowed you to input moves and sort of ask the computer what it was going to do about that. And that made the give and take a lot more. That was what I was sort of hoping for from the start. That was when I saw how strong and different AlphaGo was. I wanted to learn to have it show me new moves. That was what I was hoping for. And it's turned out that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Japanese, next question. Japanese Go population is decreasing now. So in order to increase it, what do you think is necessary?
That's easy because Go is such a exciting game that once you get good at it, you're probably not going to quit. Like even if you're a mid-Q player, or especially if you're a Dan player, you're probably not going to quit playing Go. You're going to continue throughout your life. But the difficult part is in starting playing it, I think.
Yeah.
And especially with, like in Japan, Go clubs are usually filled with avid Go players. Maybe they're not so eager to teach beginners sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's a sort of, sometimes it can be a difficult environment for a beginner to sort of jump into.
Yeah.
And so I think the most important thing is to take care of these beginners and get a lot of weak players, and some of them will become strong and make a big group, which is, in the end, that's going to make stronger Go players too. I mean, stronger professionals also. The big group is going to increase the number of players and give us more chances.
Okay, so next one. The reason I started making this kind of video is that I would like to spread the Go game to people who don't play Go in the world. So what are the interesting points of Go? What do you think?
It's always very difficult to say that.
Yeah, I know.
Well, first of all, for instance, like in Japan, you can have any type of person can play the game. I think it's really a part of Japanese culture. So you have people who like to calculate. You have people like artists maybe who do not calculate so much but have a more intuitive grasp of a position. And people have all these different ways that they can become strong Go players. I think in the West, it's more people who like the logic of the game, but actually there are a lot of ways you can approach it. And so because of that, you can very easily encounter a player who has a completely different way of looking at the game than you do. And these games can be just continually being surprised or being happy about a move that a place where you thought you did well and stuff. All these, you get a lot of emotions moving and experiencing something new and different every time. And sometimes I feel that the game seems to have a life of its own because when two players play each other, the chemistry of that really makes the game, sometimes it makes the game change into something that neither player actually expected. And so it goes off on a tangent, and the players sort of have to keep up with that. So sometimes it's just going in a very unpredicted way, which was not in the game plan of either player. And so that unexpected, and you learn something from that every time. So that's what makes it exciting for me.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. So how can I say? I could always count my game. So I'm still second queue, but I could count. But if I thought my maybe I would be win. But at the end of the game, I count maybe 1 point I lost.
Yes.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, it's unexpected and it's really interesting.
Yes, counting in Go is a bit tricky because you have an unfinished position.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. So in the end, please give a message to the audience.
Yes. Well, I think some of my audience will be people who play Go already. To those people, I say that if you're not a professional, then you should just study what you enjoy most, because I think people learn a lot when they're having a good time. And so, like, there are people who like to do life and death problems. There are people who like just to watch professional games, people who like to play themselves. I think that Go is such a deep game that you can continue getting better just doing what you enjoy about the game. Like professionals have to cover everything. Like, we can't afford to have a weak spot, so we study everything. But I don't think that's true of amateur players, because you're not going to run out of things to learn, even if you just do stuff that you enjoy. So I think enjoying it is the most important part. And to the players, people who are maybe thinking of learning to play Go, or not playing yet, just start. Basically, like, sometimes you have to find the right environment. So, like, if you find a nice club, then you should go there. Or if you don't want to get into that, if you have trouble getting into a club, maybe internet is better for you. Just find a place to start, and once you start, you're going to eventually find someone who's going to help you. So you just have to experiment with that. And everyone's weak when they start, so it doesn't matter. Just go ahead and play.
Okay, so thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you. 直接相手されない時が一番厄介なのね、2000はね。
ああ、そうなんですね。
相手してくれるといい点になる場合もあるんだ。
うん。
うん。
この次はどこが良かったですかね。
あ、今のいいとこだね。これいいとこです。この5番の中で、
はい。
この白が一番弱い石ですよ。白の石の中で一番弱いから、その石を両側から挟むようにして打ったのが正解だと思うね。うん。だからここにするのか、
はい。
それとももう一つこうやって近づけるの、この辺までね、近づくの
そ
か。
こもいいんですか。
真ん中、天元に打ってるでしょ、こう最初にね、
はい。
この石。
はい。
この石があるときは、なるべく大胆に打った方がいい。
そういう、なんか一応この布石で100曲以上打ってるんですけど、
ええ、
なんか目論見としては、その中央に力があるから、外側から内側に寄せていくっていう戦略で
はい。
打ってるんですよ。
そうそうそう。で、喧嘩になったら、天元の石働くから、
はい。
だから遠慮しないで、こう、目いっぱいに行った方がいいっていう考
広げた方がいいんで
え方もある。
すか。
うん。
なるほど。
まあでも、これでも、ほとんど差がない。こう、どっちがいいかっていうと、わずかなんですね。うん。で、これ、白とすると、
はい。
同じぐらいのレベルの人だと、一生懸命ここを守るだろうと思うんだね。
うーん。
ここを白地にしようとする人がいると
はい。
思うけど、そうすると、
そうですね。
こう
確か
左から右から両方守らなくちゃいけないから、
に。はい。
効率が悪くなる。そうすれば大体成功だ。例えばね、
はい。
そうだな、例えばこういうふうにやったりすると、こういうふうにやったりして、
そう。
白の囲い方がだんだん小さくなっていくでしょ。
はい。そう
そういうふうになる
ですね。
と、まあどっちかというと黒が成功してるかもしれないね。
はい。
うん、だから白としてはそこにこだわらないのが正解なんだけど、
そう、このパターンの時は3の D に置く人が結構多いんですよね。同じぐらいの気力だと。
3の何
D です。D。で、
?3 の D、白が
そうです、そうです。
ここにね。
こうされることが結構多いです。
うん。これはまあ、今はこの2線の黒石、この石がちょっと低いから、
はい。
ほっとくとちょっと攻撃されそうだよね。
うん。
だからなんか、せっかく天元にいるから、
はい。
このぐらいにこう大きくいくとかしといて、
はい。
この辺が大きいよっていう打ち方をするといいかもしれないね。
うん。
うん。それで、後で、こういうところとか、
ええ。
もう少し頑張ってこの辺とかに行くと、
うん。
結構白困るんだよね。
そこに打てるんですか？
これは際どい。
へえ、そんなところに行く手が。
うん、これは際どいけど、まあ、例えばこう、まあ、例えばね、ここ
はい。
に行って、ここに行って、こういうふうにやれば形ですよね、白は。こういうふうにやれば形なんだけど、こ
はい。
ういうふうになると黒楽じゃないですか。
そうです
そうなれば
ね。
ね。
あ
じゃあ、白は反発するとどうかっていうと、
はい。
まあ、例えばね、このような感じになって、
はい。
こういうふうになると、これどうなるかは、まあ、よくわからない。これが分かったら、そのプロになっちゃうっていうぐらい難しい。だから、それは保証はできないけど、
そうですね。
相手も
ちょっと、
怖いよっていう程度ね。
あ
だから、それが心配だったら、まあ、この
はい。
くらいに入ってもね、結構狭い白が。これが
そうです
狭いから。
ね。そうですね。
で、だ
これ、
から白上から行ったんだ。
これ初めて打たれましたね。こんな手あるんだと思って。
まあ、やっぱりこう、天元にここに黒の力があるから、
はい。
この辺りを黒のものにしないように上から行ってる、ね。
あ
でこれに対しては、
はい。
大抵三々に入った方がいいね。
そうなんですね。
この
そう
近辺打つん
ですね。
ならね。この近辺打つならこういうふうに言って、こういうふうにやるか。で、
ギリギリ。
三々打って、こうやって2線に下がっちゃうと、
はい。
ちょっと辛いんだけど、
あ
例えば三々打ったら、だからどっちか入ればいいんです で、こうなるとこうなって、こういうふうになって、
はい。
こんな感じになってね。
あ
こういうふうにやる方が多分少し良かった。で、ささ打てば割とシンプルで終わる
そう
から。
ですね。そうですね。
これはね、この打ち方は難しい。難しいし、どっちかっていうと成功しない可能性が高いね。
それってちなみに手あったんですかね、その先って。なんかやりようありました、なかった。
もしここに打ったので、
はい。
これはこうやって、もし逃げるとこうやって、白は隅だけで生きてる形になる。
そうですね。
そうすると、左か右か両方の黒が危ないから、
そうですね。
これはダメなんだけど、
はい。
例えばこの手で反対にこっちから打つと、
はい。
結構難しかった。
ああ、そう、そこ悩んだ末、上側から行っちゃったんですか。それ
これを例えばこういうふうにやって、こういうふうにやれば穏やかな、ね。黒も
ギリギリ生きてたんですね。
これで白はなんかこの辺に打ってっ
ああ、そう
ていう感じに
ですね。
なったんだけ
ええ、
ど、
ええ。逆側から行っちゃったからですね。
ただ白がこういうふうにやって、こういうふうにやって、こういうふうにやるとどうなるかというと、
はい。
これは有段者ぐらいのレベルになって難しい。
こ
こういう
れは、
形はこうやって、今白は残り3手じゃない。
そうですね。黒も3って。
そう。だからこういうふうにやると白が1手負けちゃうんだよね。
ああ、そうなんですね。
ところが、白はこういうふうにやると、白は
はい。
4手でしょ。
そうですね。
黒も4
黒は
手。
4手ですね。
だからまだこうやると白負けちゃうんだよね。
ああ、本当だ。
ところがね、このギリギリのところまで張って、
はい。
これで抑え込みが成功すると、
白が勝つんですか。
これが白が1手得しちゃうんだね。こ
ああ、
こが
本
だから。
当だ。いやー、面白い。そうなんですね。
このギリギリのところまで張ってから抑え込むっていうパターンが、これ
あ
がよくある手筋なんだけど、
あ、ああ、はい。
この場合はこの辺りとかがちょっと緩いところがあるから、
ええ、ええ。
実は白も危ない。こういうふうに黒がこういうふうにやってきたときにどうなるかっていうのが、これはよ
あ
くわからないっていうか、これがまた分かったら有段者になっちゃうね。
あ、はい。
例えば白がこうやって打ってくれば、こういうふうになって、こういうふうになってくれば、これは白が失敗になるでしょ。
ああ、抜け出せちゃいますもんね。
で、これだけで変化がいっぱいあって、これ
あ
はだから、やろうかどうしようかっていうことはちょっと迷ってたけどね。
ああ、そう、そっちから行けば、なんか低すぎてなんかどっちも死んじゃうのかなと思って、
あともう一つ、ここ遡って、
はい。
この当たり打つっていうのが、当たり打つ
あ
と
あ、
相手伸び
ええ、
るに決まってるでしょ。
そうです
ね。
ね。
そこで困ったなってなるよりは、
はい、
当たりをしないで、例えばこういうふうにやると、
はい。
これは白がどう打つかっていうのはかえって難しい。
白は当たりは打たないんですか。
参戦から
そうです、そうです、そうです。
で、こうやって。
はい。
それから。
あ、それだと黒がその白を取れちゃうんで
これはね、
すね。そうですよね。あ、
この1
それだと、
の黒石が待ち構えてるから、かえっ
本当ですね。
て取れやすいんだよね。
あ、本当だ。
で、また逆にね、
はい。
じゃあ、こっちから行くとこうやったときに、
そこで切りがある。
この白石がね、カケツギにやれば抑えられるんだけど、
はい。
これは抑えられないでしょ。こう切られちゃうから。
あ、そうですね。
だから白がちょっと困ることになる。
ああ、そうなんだ。
切り違い一本伸びよって言うじゃないで
あ、
すか。
言いますよね。
でしょ、当てちゃうとダメなんだね、これが。
ああ、それ、
まあ、ただこうやったらまだ難しかったね。
ああ、そうですね。一
まあ、
番良く
ただ
ないっていうふうに。
この手はいい手だったよ。この2
あ、
手の、
そこです
ね。
か。
で、だからこれは部分的には失敗したけど、
はい。
まあ、被害は少なかった。この次の手が大事なんです。
この次ですか。この
ね、
次打つとしたらどこなんですかね。
これはね、どっちかというと黒が
はい。
失敗したでしょ。
そう、失敗しちゃったんですよ。
失敗した時の次の手っていうのが、その
はい。
失敗が大きな失敗になるか、
あ
どうでもいい失敗になるかっていう キロになる。
どこが良かったんです ?3K とかですか ?3K じゃん。L、3L とかですか
3L ね。まあ、この辺打つんなら、どこか、これは本当に3戦打った方がいいね。まあ、今ここね。
そうですね。
もう少しやっぱり天元の意志がいるから、もうちょっと欲張って、この辺ぐらいまで行ってもいい。で、助けるぞって言ってるわけでしょ。だから白がこうやって取ってくれれば、黒成功なんです。これがもう、この部分で言うと、
はい、
これが正解だと思う。ところがね、失敗した時の法則みたいなのがあって、
はい、
なるべく遠いところに打つんです。だから多分正解はこの辺とかですよね。全く違うところに展開して、
はい、
できればここで損した分が勝ち負けに関係しないような碁になって、だからここのピンパンはもう見ないような感じで 5番の反対側で勝負する。
未来へ行った方が良かった、ね。
そうでやっぱりこういうふうにこうなると、この黒は強い石になってるでしょ。
はい。
こう面積がスペースができたから。
そうですね。
この石が強いっていうことと、この真ん中の黒石ももちろん強いから、この左上全体が黒がもうどんな戦いになっても黒が有利に戦えるはずだから、ここで戦いを起こせば十分勝つチャンスがあるわけですね。これ作戦としてはそれが一番いい。この2戦に行くのは少し失敗したその場所にこだわってるから、同じことならこういうふうにやった方がね。
そうですね。そう、目論見としては一緒だったんです。その一目を取ってくれたらいいなっていうふうに思ったんですけど、3戦の方が良かったですね。それでも確かに渡れましたね。
そう。これしかも、もう一手打った時に、の効果がすっきりしたいい形になるから。
そうなんですね。
これやっぱり3戦に踊り上がってる。例えばね、白がなんか別の手を打ってこうなった時に、この黒の1の手がいい場所にいるわけね。
そうなんですか。
実戦だと、例えば、同じような展開になった時に、みんな2戦で低いから、まだ上に来られちゃうわけだよね。
そうですね。数目しか増えてないですしね。
増え方が大したことないから、同じことを連打するなら、こういうふうに連打した方が、多分こう黒が3戦まで地が膨らんでくるから。でも正解は全く5番の反対側に打つのが正解。
新天地が良かったってことですね。
これができるようになると勝負に強くなるね。必ず5っていうのはいろいろあるから、必ず失敗するとこあるでしょ。弱い人の一番の失敗は、その失敗したところがだんだん膨らんできて、もっと大きな問題になるっていうね。そうすると、その失敗がどんどん大きくなっていくんです。この辺でやめたのが、だからそういう意味では正解かもしれないね。で、この辺は、大体白地かな。
そうですね、そうですね。確かにこの時に N の17あたりに打ちたいなって思ってたんですけど、この5子が取られちゃうと大きいのかなと思って、ここで打ちました。
この5子はなかなか取れない。
そうなんですか。
まず一つはここに打って、例えばね、危なくなった時に、この辺に打って、この辺に打てば、ここだけでも一つの目よりはちょっとある感じね。であとはもう一つは、例えばこういうふうに打って、こういうふうに打っても、この白石を助けるのが難しいんですね。助けようとすると、
上に行かなきゃいけないですよね。
これは右側の白地が破れちゃう。
本当だ。そうなんですね。
だからこれは強い人が見ると、その白石助けようとも思わないわけだから。助けたら白がもう潰れちゃうから、ここで黒の目ができるわけだね。だからそういうことをやれば、いざとなれば目ぐらいはできるし。
うん。
だから白も攻めようとしなかったでしょ。
そうですね。いや、ハサミつけたらどうなるのかなと思ったんですけど、なんか、その、9の3に打って取られちゃうと嫌だなっていう気持ちがまた芽生えて。
9の3は硬い手ですね。
ああ、そうなんです。
一番確実。本当はまあこの辺ぐらいまで行きたいんだけど、こうやるとちょっと複雑なことに
そう
なる。
ですね。
うん
ああ、それは複雑そうです。
白は
はい。
強くなるとこの黒を攻めようっていう気持ちが起きないんです。
あ、そうなんですね。
考えもしなかった。
うん。
で、こうなって、
はい。
これいいとこです。この近辺ね。まあそれちょっと左に寄るか、ちょっと右に寄るかっていうのがわ
はい。
からない。で、こうなって、白はもうここでなんとかしなきゃいけない感じ。ここで間違えた。
これはあれ、延べです。E17 の方が良かったですか？
E17 は普通の手だし、それでも正解かな。
あ
桂馬滑りかなと思ったけど、これでも、
あー、そっちの方が良かったんですね。
桂馬滑りだと、
はい。
つまりこういうふうにやったときに、当たりが弱いから、こっちの方行けちゃうんだな。
あ
で、これも立派な手だけど、これ
あ、はい。
はもう、どんどん這わなきゃダメだね。
そうです
こんな感じ。
ね。
これはこれで、
ああ、
少し字が大きいから、こういう
そう
やり
ですね。
方もある。あんまりその白を安定させない方がいいから、
はい。
もしかしたら遡って、ここでこういうふうにやっといてね。
あ
これ、定石はここに打つんですよね。
あ、そうなんですね。
そうすると、こういうふうにやったら、この辺に打って。
はい。
つまり、この一手で、隅の黒は完全に安定してるから、
うーん。
あとはこういうふうに打って、白にスペースをあげないんです。
うーん。
スペースを与えないことによって、この辺とか、この辺に黒が待ち構えてるから、
はい。
ちょっとゆっくり攻めようっていうことですね。攻める余地があるっていうこと。
はい。
ところが、実戦みたいに言って、ここを抑えられると、この黒の余裕がないから、
そうなんですよね。生きなきゃいけなくなりますね。
そうそう。
それ。
だからこういうふうに仮にやったときに、こういうふうにやられたりすると、
ああ、
この辺でちょっとスペース持たれちゃう。
そうですね。
ということは、そこが、この2手連打でここをスペースにすることが止められないから、
あ
だからあらかじめこうやるわけだ
あ、
ね。もうこの一発だけで、
はい。
こういう手もやっぱりこう曲がりも定石なんだけど、
はい。
曲がりだと、またここのところがいいところになるから、
ああ、そうですね。
続けて打たなくちゃいけない。
うん。
さっきの牌と同じ話。
はい。
こう一歩一歩行くと、だからこうなって、こうなって、こう張った場合もそういうことだね。
うん。
ここに打たれる手がいい手だから、
そうですね。
そうすると続けてそうやって打つことになるわけ。
そうです。
これはこれで、打ち方としては立派だけど、攻めとしてはちょっと手
弱い。
間がかかってる。
ああ、そうですね。
だから、おすすめはやっぱり桂馬滑って。そうす
あ
ると、こういうふうに
あ、
言っても、
はい。
これはもう相手しなくて、今度こっち行ってもいいしね。
ああ、そうなん
こういうふうに、
ですか。
あるいはもう全然やらなくても、例えばこの辺に打っても平気なわけ
うーん。
で、こういうふうに白が、
白は、
これ
白はもう二眼域ぐらいですか、そこだと。
隅は結構大威張りでね、こういうふうに
あ
やって、さらにここに打たれても、まだ生きてるっていうぐらい。
うーん。
ところが白の方は、ここのところに穴が開いてると危ないんです
そうですね。
ね。白が攻める前に先に攻撃できちゃう。
うーん。
まあ、桂馬がおすすめ。で、白はどうやってスペースを作るかっていうのは結構難しい。ね、こうやってこう狭めるから。
そうですね。
で、逆にじゃあ白がこの辺にやったとしたら、今度
はい。
こっちから打って、変に字を作らせないよね。
う
こういうところ
ーん。
とか、こういうところに字を作らせなければ、
はい。
白は仕方なしに真ん中のあたり行くんだけど、
はい。
真ん中のあたりに来てくれれば、こういう意思が働いてくるか
うーん。
ら。待ち構えてるわけだね。 こうすると攻めるチャンスだと。
いやー、その図を、はい、その図が想像できなかったですね。
うん。こうやって両側から利かされると白がね、ちょっと威張ってきちゃったのね。
そうですね。
うん。うん。この辺は結構良かったんだけど。うん。そうそう。この手がね、ちょっと怪しいかな。
それであれですか、S の14に打ってればよかった。
そうそうそう。今から打っても良かったんだけど、ね。
ああ、そうですね。その意思を変に助けちゃったから。
頑張りすぎちゃった。
そうですね。
まあ、こうやって生きるのが一番、もう今となってはそんなもんだし。
そうですね。
遡ってもっといい図を探すとすれば、このコスミで下つける、ね。この手で、要するに白が取りに行きたくなるんですね。
そうですね。で
取らせることによって、
ああ、そんな
こういうふうにね。
手があるんですね。へえ。
うん。
ああ、そうなんだ。
そうすると白を除いた石が無駄な石になっちゃうんですよ。
そうですね。
でせっかく除いたからこういうふうになりたくないとなると、
はい。
白は黒1の石を取りに行けないんですね。
あ
そうするとこういうことになってこういうことになって、
はい。
ここのスペースが一つ広くなったんです。
ああ、本当ですね。
でしかもここの切りがちょっとうるさいでしょ。
ああ、そうですね。
まあもしこういうふうにやれば、これはまあ例えばこういうふうにやってても今度は死なない格好になってるね。
ああ、そうですね。
まあいろいろ方法あるけど、
はい。
ちょっと読み切れなかったらこの真ん中の急所さえ打っとけば。
そうですね。そこは常になんか打ちたいですね。心配ですね。
うん。そう実戦はね、コス
はい。
ミで狭かったんだけど、まあそ
はい。
れでも急所に打てば、例え
ああ、
ば
そうですね。
急所に打
そこに
てば助かる。
打ってればよかったですね。
うん、これはもうちょっと危ない状態になっちゃった。
そうですね。その意思を助けに行っちゃったのが良くなかったですね。
うん。まああとは特にね、何もないというか、
そうですね。
まあそこそこの終盤打ったんだけど、やっぱこう取られちゃってるからね、大きいから。
そうですね。そうですね。確か
まあ
に。
この後はいろいろあるけど、結構ね、ど
はい。
んな碁にも通用するのは、この失敗した後の打ち方だね。5番広いから、
はい。
一箇所で失敗しても終わらないんですよ。
うん。
特に同じレベルだったら、大体交代で失敗するっていう感じもあるからね。相手だって失敗するじゃないですか。
そうですね。
うん、
いや
だから、なんとかなるんです。それを失敗したところから戦いが広がっていくと、
はい。
それはね、なかなか挽回できない。うん、新しい戦いが始まると、
はい。
うん、むしろ先に失敗した方が得する場合が多いんですよ。
う
成功したと
ーん。
思ってる人は、なんかおかしくなるんですね。
あ、そうなんです
うん、
か。
心理的にね。
それも大事ですよね。
楽して勝たなくちゃいけないようなね、そういう心理。はい、
はい、ありがとうございます。先生は、なんかおすすめの、戦いに強くなるために、おすすめの本ってありますか？
うん。まあ、対局するのが一番いいかな。
あ、
まあ、
本当ですか。
本はね、手筋の勉強はした方がいいかなと思
手筋。
う。
わかりました。
ただ、手筋は、まあ、手筋辞典とかっていう、その系の本ならあるかな。
ありますね、確かに、手筋辞典って。
そういうのをちょっと覚える。もう形を覚える感じで。
はい。
で、あとは優しい詰め語で、やっぱこうちょっと短い手数の読みができるようになるといいですね。
わかりました。ありがとうございます。
はい、どうもありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。いつかなんかこのトーキングアバウト後のファンの人が増えたら、先生のファンの集いみたいなのをやらせていただけると嬉しいです。
ありがとうございます。
はい。ありがとうございました。